Beautiful day out here. Beautiful day. I just wanted to come on here, talk about something that's been on my mind. Been on my mind for a couple of days now. And someone was telling me just to talk about it. Kept coming across my mind. Kept coming across my mind's timeline, you know. And the only place I felt really comfortable sharing it is on my channel. I feel real comfortable on my channel because it's very organic. You know, me and my team, man, we're growing this from the ground up. You know, so what you see on here is very natural. Nothing really scripted. You know, we're coming, of course we have a blueprint, but for the most part, man, it's coming from a heartfulness place, sincere place. And I love it. I love it, man. Appreciate y'all supporting. For real. I've been on a watermelon, nut, sea moss fast. No cooked food. I think this is like my 5th day. Next one I'll do just only watermelon. Kind of building up to that, you know. I've been doing a lot of orders with cooked food with my services, so I'm kind of, instead of jumping right into a fruitarian diet for the summer, I kind of took it in stages. And sometimes we gotta go in stages. Sometimes it's best to go in stages. Give yourself some grace and some space to observe your growth and not judge your growth. It's okay to take it different stages because you might be going through different scenarios in life. So the different patterns and scenarios, you know, you go through cycles. You go through cycles in life. So depending on where you at, if you still want to incorporate these good disciplinary actions that we need to perform at an optimum level, most importantly within, not without, not focusing on like accolades, performance-based, or success in a way of materialistic gain, but success more on an inward level. You want to perform on an optimal level that way because that's going to manifest without. You know, I always got to keep that in mind. And that brings up the discussion that I wanted to talk about, because I was talking to my wife earlier today, and that confirmed it for me. And we were talking, and she said to me, well, you never were truly alone. But before that, I was talking to her about how I was building my business by myself. Nobody was helping me. I had little to no support and on the technical end of creating my system, but I was still able to pull myself out of the mud. Like most people can't do that by themselves on their own, and she agreed, but she said, but babe, you weren't alone. She said, you don't forget about the unseen forces that were helping you along your journey. The unseen spiritual presence of what was sent to help and guide you and get you to the point of where you could do these things. The unseen forces. And once he said that, I immediately thought about the unseen community. The unseen community that you create along becoming one with the vision. See, when you're on purpose and you're practicing the universal laws and immersing your will in manifestation, there's a lot of unseen things that take place on this physical realm, on the physical manifestation of things. You don't see a lot. It's kind of like the behind the scenes, right? Some people call it mysticism. Some things that modern day science might not be able to explain. So the unseen community that was brought to my head, I said, wow, I really was building an unseen community. How do I felt so strong and had so much willpower and burning desire to be able to bring forth the growth of my entrepreneurship journey, the growth of my internal goals that I set for myself. It had nothing to do with materialistic gain, but more so moral compass and the growth of my spirit. Now, I say that to say this. Where I envision myself to go, using creative visualization, I found that creative imagination is one of my greatest weapons. It's one of my greatest weapons to be able to use it. But think about this. When you're using your imagination, you're going places, doing things, and seeing certain events that nobody else has ever seen. Now, this is interesting because I don't think that I agree with everything is new under the sun anymore. I mean, everything ain't nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. I don't believe that anymore. And I always used to get a feeling of unbelief when I heard that phrase. Just as the phrase that time is money. I always felt that time was way more valuable than money. So how could time be money? So with saying it's nothing new under the sun, I don't agree with that anymore, because if I can use my imagination to go places that nobody else has ever gone, and I'm not saying that actually using one's imagination is something new under the sun. What I'm saying is what goes on in the phases of us using our imagination. We have the same gift of the almighty source that birthed everything that we see on the 3D and beyond. So that infinite imagination is ultimately a part of us. So if we can imagine anything that we want, anything that comes to our infinite mind, that means that there is a lot of things that's new under the sun. There is a lot that is new up under the sun, because I can go places that nobody else can go. I can create things that nobody else can create. Yes, they have this ability to go places. They have this ability to create things. They have this ability to see certain things before they happen. That is their reality. Our probabilities are alternate realities depending on the conscious decisions that they make while living in this existence. But me, I can take on something that nobody else can see in my creative imagination. So if I'm a part of the infinite imagination, which is what we call God, and we like to put God in a box, putting human-like limitations on what we call God, calling God him, his, he, and that is what limits the infinite imagination that goes into us even trying to fathom what God is. If God is the infinite imagination, God is the imagination that created all that we know of. and beyond. And if it is said that we are a part of this imagination, and we know this by being able to use our imagination, then this means that there is plenty that is new under the sun. Also, in theory, maybe not. Maybe when we use our imagination, we're no longer up under the sun. We transcend the earth spinning on the axis. We transcend the earth rotating around the sun. We transcend the 12 months calendar. Maybe this is the case. Maybe this is why the phrase is true. It's really something very deep to ponder. I will say this though. I will say, I feel that the psychological experience or understanding of personality transformation is an alchemical experience that puts us in a place of identity shifting. This is what I felt like going through what we call spirituality, or what finding out the science, the true science of one's soul. This is real spirituality to me. Is understanding self on a level that you never have before. Challenging yourself, opening up and unlocking chambers within yourself and in your mind to make you come closer to the eternal part of you. Not looking outside, but looking within on an adventure with yourself, unlocking new gifts, unlocking new desires, unlocking new understanding, unlocking new forms of imagination, of imaginative thought that takes you to new levels in life. Inventing things on the adventure. See, this is what I like to call mysticism, or a mystic, and experiencing the supernatural side of life. Coming in contact with visions, premonitions, seeing things before they happen. And when they do, you know you saw it, but may not remember where you saw it at, or where this came from, or why this feeling of you've already been here is even giving you recollection, or giving you a sense of you've done, talked, been, seen this particular incident right now. Because maybe you have. Because maybe what we have that we call imagination can actually transcend time and to get glimpses of what is going to happen in the future. Not just in the future of the world, but in the future of yourself. Actions that you are going to carry out that you don't even know that you're going to carry out. But your mind does. And your mind is what controls your imagination. I'm one to believe that imagination is a branch off of the mind, one of the things that the mind is capable of doing. Not only is the mind capable of using imagination, but it's capable of using imagination to create things to bring it into this reality. Not only bring it into this reality, but you can be in this reality off of something that you created in your mind of imagination and see it in this reality after it actually happened in the real reality of the mind. Subconscious mind. Subconsciously, when we sleep, that could be the real reality, because that's when we're in the eternal part of ourself, the most important part of us. I'm one to believe that the mind and spirit give birth to the soul being your personality, the one unique you, the essence of who you are past the flesh. We is what we call the soul, but the mind and spirit, I'm one to believe that are one, But when they're fused together, it gives birth to what we call a soul. So the soul is, oh, that boy got soul, that girl got soul, or that band got soul, that boy, that man, that musician has soul. It's so much soul in that music. The description of a soul would probably be close to in association with the mind and spirit. Some may say that the soul and the spirit are one, are the same. Now, I'm one to believe that the mind and spirit are one, and the soul is the form that you're in when you're experiencing the mind. Like when you're asleep, in dreams, when you subconscious mind travel, you're in a soul form. This is why imagination is so important, and this is why we're the closest to God when we're using our imagination. When we're using the in-depth skills of our God-given gift of imaginative thoughts to bring these things into the reality on the physical, and also see them before they happen within the mind, where we connect the closest with the superconsciousness, or God, or higher power, whatever it is that we call this powerful being. Now, back to the alchemical phases of psychological understanding of personality transformation, and underlining the word personality, because personality we're going to associate with the soul. So you're really going through a soul transformation, which would leave a strong impression on your identity that you live out on a day-to-day basis, right? Okay, so when I was going through my identity shift, I felt alone. I felt as though nobody understood me. I was on my own island of my own mind's eye, creating what it is that I feel as though is suitable for me now, due to me redefining and renewing my mind. Now, by talking to my wife, I understand that I was never alone. I was never alone. I was actually accompanied by an unseen community. An unseen community. Some would call it the Holy Spirit. Some would call it angels. Some would call it ancestors. Whatever these forces, whatever these unseen supernatural powers are called, they were with me. And while being with me, I felt them. And they empowered my soul. They empowered me with the unwavering feeling of self-determination to evolve in self-evolution, true spirituality, self-actualizations that were carried out in my reality to give me a better life, to impose my will on my life, to be able to bring my vision forth. But this is alchemy. This is a whole alchemical experience based off those forces, and based off me connecting to the highest source through my imagination of creative thought, visualization, extrasensory perception, premonitions that I had that I could tell nobody about, but the unseen forces knew all about them. They were right there with me, rooting me on, believing and knowing, because I was getting what I needed to push me through without any physical encouraging presences in my life to do that. What was more important was on a spiritual level, in the spiritual realm. That was more important, was my spiritual strengths and gifts to be strengthened so I can be empowered to go forth and do what it is that I need to do and to bring forth the people that I need to do it with later on. Now, I'm getting some phone calls now. I wish I could continue this. We'll have to come back. This is real interesting though. It's been on my heart to talk about it, so I will be back to talk about it. Um, I was really feeling this discussion, so I'll be back to talk about it. Leave your comment and thoughts about what was just said, because I really wanted and needed to talk about this. I don't know. I'm just going kind of with my intuitive feeling. So I appreciate y'all, just tapping in. Like I said, y'all go to the channel, check out the new series, Love Language with me and my wife. And I will be going live more often. So peace and blessings to the family.